I'd
I'd
like to welcome everybody to Let's Talk Racing. We just start without him. Heck with it.
Yeah. Hi everybody. Got a lot of people tonight. Me, hi. Y'all know me. Colin, we were in elementary school together.
Yeah, elementary, yep.
So I had no idea he was in racing until I ran into him at the track, and then we had
last year.
Wonderful Al Pearce with us. When we are waiting for Shawn, Roger, how do you say his last name correctly?
Balluzzo.
Balluzzo. Gave him a call and we're gonna open up with him, but we'll wait a moment and improvise. So, Al, anything to say?
In the meantime, we can talk about Martinsville briefly.
Yeah, all those cautions. Oh,
We can talk about cheater tires.
that too.
Nobody needs to be cheating on tires.
We can
Yeah.
talk about
Oh, excuse me. Too late. Ryan Newman.
Ryan Newman cheating on tires and
That's so upsetting.
getting busted for a lot of money and points. And
Dropped 20 points.
It's actually 75.
75.
Dropped 20.
75.
I meant dropped 20 spots in the points.
Yeah,
Sheesh.
he went from 7th or 8th to
Like 27.
whatever it was.
Or
Dang.
something like that.
And did anybody notice that when the race was over Sunday, the race winner proceeded to do a burnout for a full half mile? It basically destroyed his tires. So if NASCAR wanted to look at Denny Hamlin's tires, they don't have a whole lot to look at.
And then Harvick was what someone pointed out. He did his same thing with his 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah,
Made
he
his
did
to where
it. He
you
did it in
couldn't
Atlanta, not
Yeah.
Atlanta. He did it at
Phoenix.
Phoenix and Las Vegas.
Yeah.
just tore him right
So
up.
there may be some truth to the
Plus
rumors.
offender.
What a
Everybody's
shame.
cheating on tires.
Well, and you think you've heard and done seen it all.
Yep.
But you know they've been told for years the 3 things you don't mess with. You don't mess with Sunoco's fuel because they're giving us fuel,
Yeah.
and we don't want to do anything to besmirch Sunoco's
Sunoco.
good name.
Nope.
Yeah.
You don't mess with engines, particularly restrictor plate engines. If you mess with a plate, they will run you out forever, maybe. And you don't mess with tires.
No.
Because Goodyear's been a partner exclusive
Lord
partner
knows
for
how
probably
long.
40 years.
Yeah.
Well, McCurry's been in there, and Hoosier's been in there, and Firestone has been there.
No.
Oh, I didn't know Firestone was in there.
But Goodyear, oh yeah, years ago, but Goodyear has been the tire partner for
Quite some time.
longer than most people can remember. And NASCAR says you don't mess with tires. And if you do, this is what we're going to do to you. And they told them that last fall. They told them last year.
Well, you see, some people have a thing called selective hearing, and they're thick-headed, and they think, well, if I do this, nobody ain't gonna notice. So, I
They
mean,
we'll just
told them
we'll
and
just
nobody,
cover it up.
and
they
nobody acted
things
like they
slip
heard.
through, like, the whole, they find ways and little loopholes to make things happen, you know? So, it rarely does, and it's really shocking it's that when it does, because things like this happen, and, you know?
Well, Darrell had a good point, amazingly.
Somebody told him through his earpiece,
Darrell
okay?
had a good point the other day when he said everybody else has word they can run bleeder valves. Every other series, it ain't not NHRA, but IndyCar and Formula One and sports cars, they've all got devices that allow air to bleed when pressure gets maybe higher than they want. Why can't NASCAR do that? And I guess the answer is Goodyear says these are the tires that we give you. These are the tire pressures we recommend.
Take it or
They're
leave it.
not mandated anymore.
Don't
You can
change
run
it.
pretty much what you want to run. And so why not let them bleed a little air out of the valves? And Goodyear and NASCAR say no, we want them like we want them. So and as long as they do that, somebody will be trying to cheat them down a little bit.
Trouble. It's all
But
it causes.
the big rumor was it was Harvick was doing it last year. And Harvick,
This
of
doesn't-
course,
Okay.
broke the
says
shoulders
ready.
a couple
This
of
one.
long time.
That's right. Let's Talk Racing.
Hey!
Hey! How you doing?
Hey, Sean.
How are you?
Okay.
Good.
We're doing
Balluzzo,
good.
where were you last Wednesday night?
And the Wednesday night
Before
before.
that.
Same place I am right now at the shop working.
Oh my.
Going-
You've obviously got a phone there, so you could have called last week.
I forgot about it.
That's all right.
Aw,
That's all right.
forgot about us. Hmm.
All right, say that again now.
I said you forgot about us. Oh, what a shame. We have so much fun here. You get to miss out, man.
We have got an insane amount of work going on. It's crazy. We just moved into a new building, and as of today, and just trying to get everybody's stuff done, everything done. It's just been a project.
So you've been a busy bee.
Yes, ma'am.
Quite a busy bee. Well, Shawn, for people that haven't heard about you, just tell them a little bit about yourself, like your racing resume, how you got started, where you are now, and your upcoming plans for this season.
Let's see here. I got started in Grand Stock 30 years ago. And now I'm ready to retire.
Well, that was short and sweet, jeez.
Yeah, started in Grand Stock my first year, then moved to late models. Spent up till just a couple years ago in late models. And got, 16 wins in late models. And then at, I think, 4 different racetracks. And then we moved into modifieds, and I ran both modifieds and late models back, 9 years ago. And I really love the modifieds. I like the horsepower and the feel of the cars. And we've been real successful there. Got 1 national championship, Division II, and 7 Langley championships.
Woo-hoo.
So it's been a really cool ride.
Shawn, let me ask you a question. We do not need to go into details, but just give me a fairly quick yes or no answer.
Oh boy.
Are you surprised to be racing this weekend?
No.
Okay.
You mean at the racetrack?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had faith that they'd get it squared away. It was real touch and go for a while, and I did not think that Bill would give up on it so easily. And not that he was even thinking about giving up on it easily. He's been working on this all last year, all winter. It's been a struggle for them. But I think that they've got everything squared away. I know they have everything squared away for this year, and I think they're pretty secure in having it set for ever. Still got quite a ways to go. If we get people from California just to sell the property to Bill, then he'll be set. That's a longer answer.
I'm certain, Shawn, that you knew, because you have inside sources, I'm sure you knew how close it got, though.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Who's this I'm talking to?
I'm sorry?
Who's this I'm talking to?
Who was the first guy who wrote about you in the newspaper?
That's what I thought.
Good save.
But I thought it was you. Yeah,
I wrote about you 30 years ago.
You did. You absolutely did.
Is there any truth to the rumor that Jimmy Johnson picked your number because he thought so much of you as a race car driver?
Oh, that's absolutely true.
Yeah, we've heard that.
Yeah, don't I wish, huh? Yeah, well then, Al, you know how tight it was. It was, but no, I'm not surprised that Bill continued on. A little bit surprised that he'd do it without the purchase agreement. But I'm not privy to all the background stuff, so he may actually have that. I don't know.
Shawn, tell our listeners and our viewers, you did something 4 or 5 years ago on a particular Saturday night that I think was historic, record-setting, unprecedented. Some people may not have heard of what you did. Why don't you give us a short version of what you did that night, and I'm sure you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think you're talking about the Rockstar 265. That was, there's a long background story about it that I won't get into, but I was asked to do a charity thing for a young lady that had basically colon cancer and stomach cancer. It's Madison Arnott. And they needed to pay some doctor's bills, and they were looking for a different way to raise some money. And I had made a comment probably a year before that somebody asked me how I felt after one of the long races. I said I felt great. I feel like I could run every lap in every race. and for the evening. So somebody took me up on that the following year and wanted to know if we could turn it into a charity event. And I didn't know much about charity events at the time, and he didn't know anything about it, but nothing was getting done, so I took it over. And the short story is that I put together a car in every event for the evening. It was 265 laps, and I ran every kind of car that they ran that night, from Legends to Grand Stocks to U-Cars to Super Trucks to late model and modified. Got 2 poles. We ended up 3 top 5s. Yeah, 3 top 5s, and my main race, the modified, we didn't win. We didn't win any races, but we were real close. So it was tough, and it was only a year and a half before my heart attack.
Ooh.
At the end of that night, could you have kept going if you needed to?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, if we had any more races. The Legend was probably the most difficult car. And believe it or not, the Super Trucks were the closest to a late model. I was really surprised. And the Grand Stock guys were the most difficult to race with. So it was, they didn't appreciate me coming down into the Grand Stock class and racing. But it was, yeah, I actually kept going at that time. And actually, just getting all my medicines all squared away pretty good right now. And for the first time in quite a while, I'm feeling pretty good. So I'm actually excited about this weekend, and my health is a lot better, and I don't anticipate a heart attack.
Good.
Well, that would be nice.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah, it
good.
was, for somebody that had never, ever, I mean, when I had the heart attack at the racetrack, and then they took me to the hospital, I had really could not believe it was a heart attack. I thought there was something else wrong. And when I got to the hospital, everything had subsided, and I didn't feel good, but I felt like okay. Knowing that the week before in the race car, I had a hint something was wrong, but I really thought it was a pulled muscle or something like that. And once we went back to racing, I felt okay the week before. But anyways, when I got to the hospital, I was so unknowledgeable about health that I would not let them draw blood at the hospital because there was no way they were going to stick a needle in me. There was no way. I just couldn't imagine a needle being stuck in me. Now, do whatever you want to do. I don't care. So I had never had anything wrong with me except for my knee.
Hang on, Kaitlyn.
Hello, how are you?
Hang on a sec.
Hang on, Keelan.
Hang on, Caitlin.
I'm good. How are you guys?
No,
No, hang on a moment.
Hold on just a second. Just try to be quiet for a minute. I know it's tough, but try to be quiet.
Ow.
I'm talking to somebody else, Sean, not you.
Yeah, okay.
All right, listen, give us like a 30-second version of how you expect your season to go, what you're going to do. I mean, give us the pregame pep talk.
Well, through all this stuff, we've come up with actually a sponsor. It's Heart Song Care. And they do a lot of home health care, ambulance service, that kind of stuff. And it's been a really good relationship. So they've come on board. We actually have a sponsor this year. So we're going to run South Boston and Langley and go after the Division II national championship like we did in 11. And some East Carolina. It's the first time I run South Boston in 20 years. And we were really, really fast until we had a mechanical problem, which we don't normally have. We went up to test at Langley last Saturday, and we were only a 10th off the pole last year on old tires. So I was very confident in the car. So I think we'll just continue on the way we've been. We're going to go for an 8 championship at Langley, and that'll break Bill Warren, the tie-in in with Bill Warren for 7, if we can do that. So, I mean, we're going after a couple championships, a bunch of wins, and the national championship is our goal.
Okay.
Nice. We wish you the best of luck in that.
I'll stop by tomorrow doing practice and come bug you a little bit.
Come on, we'll be there.
All right, Sean. Listen, thanks for calling in. I hope you don't mind us giving you a hard time about last week.
Not at all. I'm sorry that it's just been crazy. Moving the shop's been a big project, but we're done.
We're glad you're all settled in. Thanks so much.
So, thank you. I appreciate
Take care.
it, guys. Thanks
Bye-bye.
for calling. Take care.
All right. Somebody push the button.
Alright. Hey, Caitlin.
Hello, how are you?
Just take that as your little bit of April Fools. We're doing great. How are you?
I am good.
Sorry.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, sorry for all that confusion. It's interesting. We got all this new stuff set up here, and it's fun.
Yeah.
Caitlin, I tried to convince people that they had suspended not only the crew chief, but the entire team of the 31 car for 4 races, one for each tire they were cheating on. Nobody believed me. They all knew it was an April Fool joke right off the bat.
That's funny.
But it makes a good
Hey,
story, though.
unbelievable.
Makes a good story, though.
It is. You come up with that on your own.
Yeah, well, you know, every now and then I come up with something good. All right, tell people who you are, where you're from, how you got where you are. We got a young man on the panel tonight who I think at some point in time wants to be a motorsports PR marketing type guy.
Yeah.
And maybe you can give him some hints on how you got to be who you are.
Okay, well, I'm originally from Virginia, Bridgewater, Virginia, in the Shenandoah Valley.
Whoop, whoop.
I went to school at Christopher Newport University in Newport News, right near you guys.
Hey, yeah.
And right out of school, I started working at Langley Speedway as a reporter for 2 years. They just had this show that the Godovics were putting on, and they chose me to do the reporting for it, and that's how I built my original demo reel that I sent to what was former Speed Channel, which has now become Fox Sports 1. And when I first got hired at Speed Channel, I was not on air right away. I was doing traveling MC for the live stage shows and doing like social media videos, but they knew that my goal was to be on air, and it just turned out that they had an opening, and they gave me a shot, and that's pretty much the rest of history, I suppose.
Wow, that's really nice. That's awesome. I like hearing when people from around here do well and can go places. It gives people like me and Colin who want to do big things a lot of hope, and that's awesome. I love that you went to Christopher Newport. That's great. I know it's a great school. A lot of my friends are going there right now. I almost went there, but then I was promised a full ride somewhere else. So I was like, hey, I'm going to go with that.
Yeah, well, if you got a full ride, that's a done deal, right?
Yeah, so I was like, sorry, Christopher Newport, you're great. But
Ask you some questions there, young man.
All right, hey, Caitlin, this is Colin. So tell us about your college degree and what got you interested in motorsports reporting.
Can you repeat? It was breaking up a little bit.
Tell us about your college degree and what got you interested in motorsports reporting.
Okay, yes. My degree was in communications, and even when I was in high school, I knew I wanted to do sports journalism because I was the editor of the sports section for our newspaper in high school. But when I was in college, I went to my first race, and I loved it. I had pit passes, and it was very intriguing to me, and I also knew it was going to be a big challenge to learn a sport like this. I believe NASCAR is the toughest sport to learn, hands down. I mean,
I like
the
that.
technical side, if you didn't grow up working on race cars or you weren't a former driver or crew chief, it's hard to learn that technology. Yeah, that's kind of what piqued my interest in it. I was in school, and then I just did everything I could while I was in school to position myself to come down to Charlotte, North Carolina, and pursue this goal I had, and somehow it actually worked out, thankfully.
What advice would you have for a young man like Colin? You're going to be a freshman in college?
Yep, freshman in college.
Yeah, this young man is going to Eastern Mennonite?
Yep, up there in Shenandoah.
Oh, okay, right near where I'm from.
Yeah.
Well, my advice would be to do as many internships as possible. College is a great time for you to figure out what you want to do once you graduate, and there's a lot of neat internship programs that are available for students. I did 3 of them while I was in school. I did one through my university. A lot of universities actually offer sports communication type internships, and CNU did that, which was kind of the starting point. But then I also did a local news internship, and I did a public relations internship as well for a summer in Charlotte. And that was my first experience living in Charlotte, and that was also kind of how I knew I wanted to move here eventually. But while you're in school, definitely take advantage of the internships, because you can get credit for them as well. And every now and then you can maybe even find a paying internship, which is ideal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kaitlyn, let me ask you maybe a difficult question, but we've known each other a long time. I feel I can do this.
Oh boy.
When you first got into the business, did people take you seriously, or do they think, well, she's just another blonde, pretty face, and she's out here hunting for a crew chief or a driver husband? I mean, did you have to prove yourself maybe more than a male would have to prove himself?
Jesus, that's a good question.
I think so, and I definitely feel like people didn't know what I was about originally. They didn't know my background, didn't know I had worked at Langley and things like that. So when I made it to the network level, I think at such a young age, it did sort of raise some eyebrows. And I think just as a woman in general in motorsports, you got to work.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be prepared to work just as hard, if not harder, than your male counterparts. It's unfortunate that people have those stereotypes, when you come in, but I think if you go about things the right way and you show people how dedicated you are to what you're doing and that you're very passionate about it, it takes a while for the teams and people to trust you, but it comes with time, and I feel like I'm in a really good place now with the drivers, crew chiefs, the teams. They've come to expect me, that I'm going to come interview them. Now that I'm in the garage so much for reporting, it has helped significantly to build those relationships. But yeah, it was definitely really hard starting out, no doubt.
Now, I have an interesting question for you. This is a question that I usually ask the drivers, but this will be interesting coming from someone in your standpoint of view. Do you have a most embarrassing moment? Do you remember going into this job? Rather, it was something that happened at Langley, or when you finally got to where you wanted to be? Was there something that happened that you kind of cringe and don't want to say or admit? Because we've heard lots of interesting stories from drivers, but I'd like to hear something from this side.
But what type of moment?
Embarrassing.
Embarrassing.
Yeah,
boy,
the fun stuff. Choose one.
I'm trying to think. Which one sticks out? I mean, there's embarrassing moments all the time.
That's great with media and theater. Embarrassing moments all the time.
Kaitlyn, you've never asked a question any dumber than the first question I ever asked 47 years ago.
I knew you were going to bring that up.
And when I asked Richard Petty at Dover, why did you climb out the window and not just open the door? So,
you don't know much, boy, now, do you?
You got a long ways to go to top that question, believe me.
I think that what I would say that comes to mind immediately was something that happened actually last year at a K&N race. I called a driver the wrong name, and it was the driver who won the race. So that was horrible. I called Cole Custer Nick Drake, because Nick Drake had finished second that day, and I had just talked to Nick, and for whatever reason, I just said his name in Victory Lane. But the good news is that race was not live, so it was taped, so we could redo it. But I mean, Cole Custer looked at me like I had 3 heads. And I hope that relationship is mended now, because now that I'm covering the trucks, obviously I see him quite a bit, and I think we're cool.
She's apologizing on live.
I'll never forget his name.
She's apologizing live now, so if he watches this, just let him know. Be like, you should watch this. I said I was sorry.
Yeah, I was so embarrassed, and he just it was his big moment winning a K&N race, and I screwed it up. So I felt really sad.
Oh no.
Kaitlyn, do people back home and do people seeing you know you're such a big timer, or are you just the same old girl you've always been?
I mean, I think I'm the same old girl I've always been, but my university has asked me to come and speak to the students and things like that. So I think they're aware that, someone graduated and went on to Fox Sports. But yeah, it's cool. I like stuff like that. It was really fun to speak to the students and just kind of give some advice or insight and hear some of their stories of what they're interested in doing. And it's pretty cool. That's way you'd help some people or inspire some other people, or especially inspire some other women to pursue motorsports, because there's not very many of us out here, and there needs to be more.
Mm-hmm. Amen to that one.
Kaitlyn, the role model. Who could have figured?
Hopefully a decent one.
Well, I'm proud to say you still speak to me, even though you're so much more exalted now than just a regular person. So I'm proud to say you're still a friend of mine.
Of course, always will be.
Oh,
Yeah, you're off this weekend. Nobody races this weekend. Where do you go next?
We go to Texas.
You can do Texas, okay.
Next week. And I am so excited about the off week. I can't even put it into words how bad I needed it. I've been to every race in speed weeks, so it's just been kind of a grind. And it'll be nice to just sit in Charlotte and not look at my suitcase for once.
Now, will this be your first trip to Texas, or were you there last year?
Yeah, I've gone the past couple of years, actually.
Okay.
So I've been there a few times. That's always a great place. And it's the Duck Commander 500, I believe. So I'm a big Duck Dynasty fan, so I'm really looking forward to meeting those guys. And Texas just does it up right. That is an awesome facility, and the things they do for the fans with all the nitro circus stuff they do, it's really pretty cool.
Well, I've got to ask you my obligatory food question. Have you ever heard of a place in Roanoke, Texas, right near the racetrack, called Babe's? It's a chicken place.
Yes, I've had their food.
Okay.
You passed this test.
There's pretty good stuff in
Yeah.
it.
It is.
Yeah,
It is. There's a lot of good food and places to go in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then you come back to Bristol,
Yep.
and
Bristol.
then we do Richmond, I guess. Okay, yeah.
Talladega.
Yeah. Now, when do you finally get a break other than this weekend?
I don't actually get any breaks.
So you stay with Fox all the way through their deal.
Correct.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
I'm going to every race through Sonoma. So,
Okay.
Sometimes if I'm not at the Cup race, it's because I'm doing a standalone truck race. I had my first truck race this past weekend, my first time ever being on pit road for one of our major series. So that was kind of a career milestone, I suppose.
It was quite a race to have to watch also, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very active. I mean, it was typical Martinsville, and a lot of cautions, a lot of wrecks towards the tail end. It kept me busy. I felt like I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off. But it was an interesting experience. Pit road reporting is hard.
Do you ever, my last question, because we got somebody lined up behind you, but my last question is this. Are you ever a little bit reluctant to approach a driver after a bad day? I mean, I don't know, because I did not get Fox 1 on my hotel. Did you try to talk to Matt Crafton after the race on Saturday?
I did, actually. He was my first interview.
Was he fairly polite and cooperative?
Yeah, he was great. I mean, he even though he didn't win, he kept saying over and over what a blast he had, and it was so much fun racing all those guys at the end. And just hard racing, But he was fine, and I have a good relationship with Matt, so he's always usually pretty cool when I come around.
Okay.
I always call him Russell Crowe, because he looks like Russell Crowe.
Okay, good. Okay, we done with her?
Yeah.
Say goodbye.
We're gonna say Al said it, but we're gonna say goodbye, Kaitlyn. We hope to have you on the show again soon, and safe travels, and glad that you're able to have a week off to take a breath.
And we'll see you at Richmond.
Awesome, yeah. Thank you guys
we
so
will
much.
see you at
It's good to
Richmond.
catch up with y'all.
Hey, Kaitlyn,
Yes.
go Captains.
Go Captains, that's right.
Take care.
Thank you, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Let's talk racing. Hey, Brian.
Hey, how are y'all guys doing?
We're doing good. How about you, bud?
Doing good. Just got done eating, and hopefully we'll get some rest for this weekend.
I almost didn't answer that number because I didn't recognize it.
No.
You didn't recognize this number.
Let me look.
Raj, look what you're doing.
Well, it didn't have your name on it. Put it that way.
I gotcha. How y'all guys been doing?
Not much. Me and Raj, we're planning to go to Richmond upcoming this April, and besides that, we're just trying to get all of that together. What have you been up to, man? Tell me what all you've been doing so far.
Well, we started the 2015 Southern Modified season. We started off at Caraway, about 2.5 weeks ago. Got rained out on a Saturday, but luckily we were able to get it in on a Sunday and had a very good race. We had some northern guys come down and join us since their season hadn't started. And a northern number 58, Eric Goodall, came down. He took the checker flag, and it was a really good race. Matter of fact, the first week, from 1st to 20th, I think it was 9/10 of a second, split the whole field. So it was really interesting, real good race. And then 2 weeks later, which was this past weekend, we went back again to Caraway for our second race of the year. And we ended up, again, having about 19 cars, and it was just a good turnout. Very, very cold that time of year where it's not quite that warm yet. But we're looking forward to going to South Boston this weekend, and hopefully, from what I understand, perfect weather is in the forecast.
Yeah, we can only hope. You never really know.
Yeah, that's the bad thing about racing. Too bad we just can't race in a dome.
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, so far this year it's been quite chilly, but we've been doing pretty good. And we'll be coming out Langley Speedway in Hampton, Virginia next weekend. So after we get done with South Boston, we make a trip down to Langley, and then we'll take our break for the midsummer break that we usually have, and resume back July 4th.
Nice. Well, Langley, if you're coming down here, weather's a little bit better than probably what you had where you were since it was cold. But
Remember, he lives only in Yorktown.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, compared to where he was, it's nice being back here where, I mean, then again.
Well, he was at Martinsville on Sunday.
It's Virginia. Oh, well.
Yeah, it was cold in Martinsville.
It's always
Sunday.
cold in Martinsville.
Man, I'm going to tell you what, I heard it was worse Saturday, though. That's what everybody was telling me, because I didn't come in until Sunday. But it was definitely cold down there at Caraway. I think by the time we got done racing, it was probably somewhere around 30, 35 degrees at night. And we took the green flag somewhere around, I think we started somewhere around 6 or 7, something like that. So, yeah, I mean, you know, that time of year, it'll be warming up and pretty soon. I guess we'll all be griping that it's too hot and it's humid and everything else. So it's cold or it's hot.
Yep. Basically how it is. Al, you got any questions?
Jump in there. Well, let's just show
Yeah.
and say some things.
Hey Brian, this is Colin. I got a question. What's your routine like at the track on race day?
Well, you know, each track is so different. We get to Caraway quite a bit, so we got that routine, you know, down pretty good. But usually going to places like South Boston, Langley, and places like that, we try to get in about 7 o'clock in the morning. You do your meetings and your setup and everything, and what we do is we do an inspection. With the Southern Modifieds, we basically do a one-day show, unless it's Bristol, New Hampshire, or Charlotte. And well, even Charlotte, we do a one-day show. But we get in, we do inspections, we do practice, we do qualifying and everything within one day. So sometimes you look at leaving the hotel somewhere around 6 o'clock in the morning, and we don't get back in until somewhere around 12 o'clock that night. So it's a good 18-hour day. I mean, it's work, but I don't consider it hard work, because if you enjoy something like that, it's like I tell my family, that's my golf. I get paid to do it that.
Can teams come in a day early and test?
That's the week before, and then once we're coming in, we don't usually do that. So it's not like a track does for like late model or anything like that. I've seen some tracks, you know, that have done that over the years, but what we do is we try to cut down on all testing, you know, beforehand. So, you know, it gives everybody the same advantage. I mean, because you got guys that are coming in from, you know, up north. We've had some people coming in, trucking in from Florida and everything else. And it's kind of hard to get there a day early, or, you know, et cetera. So it's we try to make it fair for all the teams.
Reason I asked you, Bobby Hutchins told me Sunday, he said, yeah, I'll be up at Langley. He said, I'll see you, and he said to me, he said, I'll see you at the track the Friday before we race. Now, whether he's just going to come up and look at the track, walk around, I don't know. But it sounded like he meant that he'd be practicing on that Friday, but maybe I took him wrong.
Well, they have had some open testing on tracks that we don't go to. So I don't know nothing. I haven't heard anything about that. Bobby's a great guy. His son, Trey, is racing with us now. Bobby's a smart individual. Very, very intelligent. I mean, if you've been around racing for a long period of time, you know that name. So, but he's a very good guy. Man, we've got a lot of good guys racing with us now. Gary Putnam, who used to be car chief on the Jamie McMurray car, he races with us. And we got a lot of guys that fiddle around in the Cup Series and come and like to play around on the weekend. From what I'm hearing this weekend, Bono, who had the 7NY car, he is bringing, now this is only rumor, I don't know nothing official, but I heard that they were coming out to South Boston. So that's going to be really good. I think he's going to have Ryan Priest in that car from what I heard.
That's an interesting. We'll take note
Yeah.
of that.
Well, it's an off weekend for the Cup guys. And, a lot of these guys, hopefully it'll be a good weekend. We'll probably have a lot of, it was pretty interesting. I saw a lot of the spotters down there at Caraway this weekend. Truck race was, in Martinsville Saturday, and a bunch of truck going down there after that, and come and hung out. And so, living around Mooresville, man, you got tracks everywhere. You got Caraway, you got Hickory, you can be at South Boston in a couple of hours. It's centrally located for some of those guys down in that area.
Jump in there. Ask him something good.
I got some questions written down.
So let's see. What is the travel situation like, and do you like to travel?
Do I like to travel?
Yeah, and what's the travel? What's the situation like?
Sometimes it gets to me. I don't know, man. After 8 years of doing this, my travel has really calmed down considerably. I mean, I still got some nights where, I'm at one track on a Saturday night and I travel and try to take on another race if I'm asked to for a Sunday. But, the travel can get tough. But, it's only what you enjoy. I've cut way back from what I used to about 3 years ago. And what's the day like? I guess, I believe that was one of your questions. One of my days, I almost like driving more nowadays than I do flying. And I used to be a flyer. I thought there was nothing like flying because you could sleep. But, man, it's just so much trying to get to the airports and make sure you got connecting flights and stuff like that. So I almost like to drive nowadays.
Flying can be a pain.
Brian, generally speaking, and I know you got to be careful with this, but generally speaking, what does the Southern Modified Tour think of Langley and the racetrack itself and the way the track is run and the kind of reception they get up here?
Well, I can be really honest with you because I've heard so many of them talk about it. Nothing but really good things have been said about Langley, the staff, and the way that everybody's treated. I know the way they treat us officials and our NASCAR staff when we come in is just, it's great. They usually, when we come in, I mean, we're greeted with a smile. We can't ask for nothing better. It's just the fan count from the fans to the staff to everybody. I mean, it's just a good track. I've heard nothing but positive feedback from everybody when they do come out to Langley. Now, this is what I have heard, and I've heard this, through the years now with, just hearing people talk. They say if you can master Langley, you can pretty much do pretty good, on any other track. And I've heard a lot of guys talk about the flat surface of Langley and, how hard it is to get around there, but how challenging it is. So it's quite a joy to be able to come in there. But, I also love going to some of these tracks like South Boston where you got so much history. You got the Sadler boys who race there and everything else, and it's got, some nice banking to it. The good thing about the Southern Modifieds, to be really honest with you, is we go from flat surface like a Bowman Gray, which is totally flat, and you go to, in the past we've been to Southern National, we've been to Charlotte, Bristol, South Boston, Hickory, Caraways, places like that. We've got a little bit of variety between all the tracks, which is really awesome for our competition.
Hey, I got a question about any young drivers that you know of maybe going up the ladder to the Cup?
Well, I think everybody's goal is to be able to get the cup, and that's the goal that you start off with. I think we've got a lot of good talent. I mean, even though he's a northern driver and he's really young, Ryan Pearce, I think he's got some things in the works to do some races maybe nationwide. I know he has in the past. He raced a couple nationwide last year for Tommy Baldwin Racing, who is a big modified guy, came from a modified family up north. He made that connection with them. And I think we got a lot of good talent that has possibility of being able to move up. It's just nowadays it counts a lot on being in the right place at the right time and having good sponsors.
Mm-hmm. It's been.
Will the Hatfields and McCoys be here next weekend?
Oh yeah, they'll be there.
The Myers and the who is it? The Myers and what's the other family?
You'll have the Myers down there. The Flemings will be there. You'll have Junior Miller. Junior Miller just races out of Bowman Gray nowadays. Tim Brown, who was part of the series a couple of years ago, he is not racing with us this year, but I hear he's crew chief for the Fleming family. But we've still got all those good guys. I mean, the Myers boys, I didn't realize all the history with those guys until a couple of years ago, with their dad racing and, of course, the kids coming along with Bert and Jason.
The Brown guy you mentioned, is he the one that tried to hang on the side of a car for a couple of laps at Bowman Gray one night, or was he driving and another guy tried to hang on?
No, that was a sportsman division, the one that I'm thinking of. And I can't remember their names of who they were. I remember seeing some videos from that from a couple of years ago. That was one of our guys.
I think Brown was one of them.
We had whoever it was on the show back about a month ago.
About to say, because wasn't that one of the embarrassing stories?
Anyway.
Yeah.
But
Wasn't that one of the...
Have any of y'all ever been to Bowman Gray?
Yeah, they're just going to bring the mayhem up here from down there.
I want to tell you what. The first time I went to Bowman,
I said it's going to be good.
First time I went to Bowman Gray, the first year I was on the tour back in 2006, I think. All the guys got together and they were like, okay, before we go to Bowman Gray, you've got to go. And I was like, it's like any other racetrack, what do we need to go for? We went down there, and I have never seen a short track like that just load up with people. What it is, it's a football stadium.
Yep.
And they converted, the track is like a walking track. Like you have around, let's say, Todd Stadium and your local high schools and stuff like that. But theirs is asphalt. And then he put up guardrails and everything, and it's built all up. The bleachers are like, a football stadium. I mean, it's Winston-Salem. And it's amazing. You got to do it one time. I mean, I'm telling you, it's definitely something to go see. When you see them being able to pack about 15,000 people in the stands. It's remarkable. I mean, we go to some places with some great audiences and stuff, but when you got a football stadium that size and they can hold that many people, and people love their modified racing up there. But guys, listen, I'm gonna have to bolt on out of here. But I appreciate it. I hope to see all y'all at Langley, and maybe we can all get together and go grab a bite to eat.
Brian, I'll see you there in next Saturday night week.
Alrighty, man. Well, y'all take care, and thanks again for having me on the show.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Take care.
See, I can do this. This is really simple. You press the button to answer and to end, and all you do is more volume or less volume. This I can do.
Not picking up the tables.
So these are some high-end speakerphones.
I know, because I
as you notice, them suckers, I can be up in the front of the building and hear them.
I know, because I remember
But you got a phone ringing, by the way.
Okay. Let's talk racing.
Hi, this is Jay Beasley.
Hi, Jay. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
We're all doing well here.
You got Crystal, you got Al Pearce, you got Colin and myself, Roger. How's everything going for you, Jay?
Everything's going really good. Actually, just got back from Walmart making some spaghetti. So we're getting things done over here.
That sounds actually.
I thought
sounds
maybe you were going to say you come back from Walmart with a sponsorship.
We're working on that. We're working on that.
Be like
How are you guys doing tonight?
We're doing great. Jay, for people who on the show haven't heard about you, kind of give us your resume, like your driving history, how you got started, what motivated you, and everything you've done.
Well, my name is Jay Beasley. I'm 23 years old. I was born and raised in Las Vegas. I moved out here last year to drive for Rev Racing for the diversity program that NASCAR funds and Max Siegel. I started racing when I was about 4 years old, and my dad actually got me motivated to do it. And I told him to just get a pair of cleats, but he didn't. And I just got hooked. We went to a go-kart track. I really liked it.
Yeah.
I was racing motocross, supermoto. Moved up into legend cars. Had some success with that. Then went to super late models. Got a track championship. Won a big $10,000 race.
Okay.
Then moved into K&N. And in 2013 is when I had got my track and state championship. I ended up getting the Wendell Scott Award too, and trying out for the diversity program, and ended up getting my foot in the door on driving for Rev Racing in the K&N Pro Series East. So it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I'm very blessed to be where I'm at, and just having loads of fun.
That is awesome. All that's wow.
This page.
Oh,
Especially
okay.
I
with
was
that.
trying to answer a lot of your questions.
Well, next question I was going to have.
You did say all of the things. So.
I know. I was just like, wow. That he just kept going, and I was like, geez, he's got.
He's on a roll. Let him go.
He is on a roll. Next thing I was going to ask you is what your plans are to do for this season.
My plans for this season are to run the K&N series, finish the season out, and then look for some other things to do. So that's the plan. But I ran the super late model race on the 21st of March and ended up winning that. But that's the only race we're going to do for my super late model. But that's about it for right now.
Colin, you got a question?
I need to ask you my regular question for all West Coast guys.
Uh-oh.
You say you're born and reared in Las Vegas?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas? Okay.
Yep.
You know, of course, the best food in the world is an In-N-Out
In-N-Out
burger.
Oh my God.
Yeah. See, I can't. My problem is.
I was trying to bring In-N-Out to my friend back east, and I was trying to figure out a way how to get it on the airplane into where she can eat it. But I just couldn't go along with playing because it wouldn't have ever worked.
Well, when the K&N series, now were you running the East or the West series?
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Are you running the K&N East series? Or,
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll be at Langley Speedway later this summer.
Yes. So
Okay, you will bring me a double with cheese, no onions, and an order of fries when you do come to Langley.
Did you get all that?
I wish I could do that, but
I bet you can. If I send you enough money, you can pack it in your bag. I'm just
that
kind
means
of.
you got to give me a ticket to go back to Vegas to do that.
Oh, so you don't live there anymore. Oh, okay.
No, I live in Charlotte now because
Okay.
I go to the race shop.
Man, oh man, you just broke my heart.
Yeah, here I was hoping I was going to double up the order. What the heck?
Oh, you're gonna be okay, Al.
Yeah, I guess so. Now, Jay, did you race at Langley in the combine last October? Did you come here for the? Okay, so you know about the racetrack.
Oh yeah. We qualified 5th there for the race last year.
Do you like the place? A lot of guys find it difficult to get around.
No, actually, I don't know. Everyone always asks me that question. What is it? What is up with Langley? Why do you guys like that track so much?
If you can master it, you can be the master of all you survey.
I'll give you one answer, Jay, is the fact that I've been covering this sport now for almost, I hate to say it, almost 50 years.
Oh, now.
I've been covering it for 47 years, and I have found that no matter where I go, whether it's South Boston or Orange County or Hickory or Greenville Pickens or wherever I go, when people hear that I'm from the Langley area, that live just down the street, they say, God, that's a tough racetrack. We love to go there, but it's awfully difficult. And the reason being, most drivers are not accustomed to racing on flat racetracks. I mean, most people, I mean, Martinsville's flat and Langley's flat, and I don't think it's an absolute coincidence that Denny Hamlin got his late model start at Langley Speedway, or his mini stock start. Denny Hamlin was winning races at Langley while he was still in high school, and he will tell you that he loves flat racetracks because a flat racetrack is where he grew up. So that's why we talk about Langley being difficult. Other people, Tommy Ellis, a two-time National Infinity Series champion, legendary guys like Ray Hendrick and the late Butch Lindley, these guys all did great at Langley, which meant they could race anywhere, and they did. So if you can master, just like Roger said, if you can master Langley, you can generally go almost anywhere and be pretty good.
Well, I tell you what, where I used to race at, my home track, the Boring, it's a momentum racetrack. So, and it's not all that banked. It's more banked than
Langley is?
Yeah, it's more banked than Langley. But when I went to Langley, I didn't find the track difficult just because to me it felt like there was a one groove racetrack. I mean, you could work, a little bit above the lower groove, the lowest groove you can run, but it really felt like it was just a one groove racetrack, and they just paved it. And I heard that before it was paved, it was a really hard track to get your hands on. So I haven't ran it before it was paved, but since it's paved, I like the track a lot. It seems it seems smooth. It's a little abrasive, but nothing like Greenville or like Columbus. And the racing is really good around there. I like the track a lot, but I heard that when it was before it was paved, it was really difficult.
Okay, when you come back this year, it'll be in the middle of summer. Probably it'll be hot and slick. They will have raced on it. They will have raced on it weekly for maybe 5 or 6 or 7 weekends. It'll be a different racetrack when you come back here this year.
Oh yeah.
I'm letting you know ahead of time. Yeah, it will not be what you're used to, and if you can adapt to it, more power to you.
Heat this warning.
Yeah. I mean, what I was more nervous about was going to these tracks like last year, like Bristol. I mean, when I went to Bristol, I did about 3 laps, and I was dizzy and lightheaded at the same time.
Not breathing.
And I could not get my head around how much banking there was and how hard you can drive into the corner, and the car would stay in the racetrack. The car wasn't going anywhere. Like, you had that grip. I thought that was kind of hard to overcome because I came from the West Coast. So most banking we had out there was like 9. And so everyone's laughing at me. I'm like, what? Like 9 degrees is a lot of baking. What are you guys talking about? We went to Bristol. I was like, oh my god, oh my goodness. And then so when we went to Langley and the Madhouse, Bowman Gray, I told my friend, I said, look, there's some baking out on Bowman Gray. No, there's not. I said, yep, look at this. Watch this. I undid my cap on my water bottle, and I poured it on the racetrack. And what did it do? It ran into the inside of the infield. I said, see, there's some bacon. It's like, come on. So I know what you guys are talking about, those West Coast guys.
Oh, that's too funny.
Which one has more banking, Bristol or Rockingham?
Did you hear that?
Bristol got way more bank than Rockingham.
Yeah, I believe Bristol has a lot more than that.
Oh yeah. In fact, Bristol may have more than Talladega and Daytona. Well, I don't know. Now that they've reconfigured it, Bruton went in there and rejiggered it and did some stuff to it. So Bristol may not be steeper than Daytona and Talladega, but at one point it was.
Cool.
So, I don't know. We got another question for you from a young man that's an aspiring stock car racer.
Yep. Hey, Jay, this is Colin. What's it like running the legend car out there at the Bull Ring?
Oh my gosh, man. It was awesome. It was insane. It was the fastest oval I had ever went to. It's like Daytona. No joke. I swear, like, you're full throttle, you're just like, why don't I, what? And like, right when you turn in, you're still on throttle, and you lift, little bit of brake, then boom, right back on it. You are digging. It's unreal. It's awesome. But like I said, when you run there in a legend car and you're like on that edge, like you're loose, but it's like a loose fast. It's like the car's rotating. So when you get that feel under your pants, and then you move up into a bigger car and you go to other tracks, you know what that feel is that you're looking for. So when you progress and move into other cars, you got that seat of the pants feel. So when you go to these bigger tracks, when you're in the legend car, that'll really help you out.
Now, your class that just came out for the Rev Racing out of the Combine, how y'all get along pretty good together?
Nope.
Oh, well, that was an easy answer.
Well, they shouldn't. I mean, they're all trying for the same
No,
seat.
we all get along. We're all teammates. We all have fun. We all enjoy our company, and it's everyone's really good. There's actually Kinsey is she's one of my teammates. Kinsey, Colin, Devin, and me. And Kinsey's got a lot of experience. She's got one more year of experience than I do in the K&N car. So I'm really looking forward to kind of like picking her brain a little bit, racing against her, and having fun and kind of seeing what Kinsey's all about. And I enjoy having new teammates. Teammates I had last year. I miss them that they're not here again, but some of them moved on and racing bigger and better things, and that's good. I have more power to them.
Yeah, is Dylan running late models this year?
Yes.
Has he got his hair under control yet?
Yeah. His hairdo is inspiring. It really is.
We got on the screen.
He does a really good job. He does a really good job with his hair.
Yeah, we're looking at a photo here he's got up on the screen, and I definitely know what you mean by that.
He
does. He has his stuff under control.
Jay, before we let you go, I need to give you some advice. How old are you, Matt? May I ask, how old are you?
How old do I sound? No, I'm just kidding. I'm 23.
Okay. Let me give you some advice, an old guy to a young guy. And I've been covering this stuff for a long time, and I've talked to everybody from Michael Schumacher and Nicky Lauda right on down to the grungiest late model racer or the mini stock guy.
Really?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've traveled. I know everybody. And I'm not bragging. I'm just telling you, I have met all these people in person.
And he has.
Yeah, I have. I can prove it. Anyway, what I'm getting to is this. If you ever do an interview with any media person, whether it's radio or TV or a guy in front of you with a notebook or a tape recorder, remember to do two things for me. Take off your sunglasses.
Okay.
Do not stand there and do an interview on TV or radio or with a tape recorder with your sunglasses on. They may not tell you this, but that reporter or that camera person finds it very insulting that you cannot take off your sunglasses. Now, people tell me all the time, well, Richard Petty doesn't do it. Well, yeah, you win 7 championships in 200 races, and you can do whatever the hell you want to do. But if you've ever noticed, Carl Edwards always takes off his sunglasses before he does an interview. And a lot of reporters and a lot of media people appreciate that. And the other thing is, at some point during the interview, after the reporter has introduced himself to you, like, hey, I'm Al Pearce, how are you, nice to meet you. At some point during that interview, repeat his name. Say, hey, that's a good question, Al, I hadn't thought about that. Or, do something that lets that reporter know that you are aware of who he is. And that's
Right.
his job, and he gets paid to do it. But believe me, you will attract far more media attention from people who like you if you let them know that you appreciate what they're doing. Because they can talk to a lot of people. And because they come to you, they must see something or they've heard something that they think is impressive, and you've got a great opportunity to put your best foot forward. You cannot do it with sunglasses on, and you can't do it with short answers and a nasty attitude. Not that
Right,
you
should I
would,
smile?
but I'm just telling you, not that you would, but in all my experience, I have often found that the higher up the level they go, the nicer they are. And keep that in mind.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
And when you come to Langley, I'll introduce myself to you, and you will say, "Oh, hey, Al, nice to meet you." And you'll take off your
You better take off your
sunglasses.
I've been looking into getting some contacts. So if I see you and I'm wearing my prescription glasses, I'll take them off and I'll squint at you and I'll say, "It's nice to meet you."
That's fine. That's
Even though I
fine.
can't see you, it's nice to meet you.
I can't see you, but I'll squint. I'll try.
Let me tell you what. I tell that to every young driver I talk to on this program, or anytime I speak to young drivers. I tell them, you've got to be good on the racetrack. You've got to know how to get around the corner and down the straightaway. But there is a percentage of your career. There's a percentage of your career that will depend on your attitude and your reaction and how you handle the media and the public. It may be a small percentage, but you cannot afford to lose that percentage just because you don't want to take off your sunglasses. Okay?
Yep.
All right.
Totally agree.
The Gospel by Al.
Yes, the gospel layout. Food, take off your sunglasses, and remember my name.
Well, I really appreciate you guys having me on tonight, and I hope you guys have a great night. Thank you
You
so
too.
much.
Take care.
You too.
We'll see you
Talk
when
to you
you come to
later,
Langley. Good luck this weekend.
Sounds good. Yep, thank you. Gonna go get some. Gonna go have some fun.
I'd be okay.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
All right.
Oh, woohoo! Well,
Started out a little slow, but he had me worried for a minute there. He didn't.
Getting kick-started?
He didn't
and
say.
then, like, he started answering those questions. He got really deep into
Oh,
the
yeah,
answer.
yeah.
I was like,
He didn't-
whoa, he's good. He's got it.
He didn't seem really interested at first, but he got better.
Yep.
Yeah, he seems to be like a nice young kid.
Yep.
But too bad on the In-N-Out burgers, Al.
I thought he still lived out there.
No, he said that he was here. That's why when I was like, oh no, Al didn't. He didn't hear about him being.
Al was thinking food already.
I know,
so
he was
everything
already
else,
like,
everything else was
Cali.
out the window.
How am I gonna
Cali
ask him
In-N-Out
for that
burger. As soon as he said Cali.
I
You know-
can't wait to go to Phoenix in November.
I wonder, Al, granted, I know that they are special containers
It wouldn't be the same.
that they can ship stuff in.
Yeah, it wouldn't be.
When I was in Arizona, I tried so hard to go to an In-N-Out burger, but where we were didn't have one.
We've got them everywhere.
Where I was in Phoenix, I was trying to get my pastor. I was like, can we drive a little bit out of the city so we can go to one? Everybody's told me, every racer I've ever met. I was like, he mentioned about you. I'm like, he tells me I have to go. He's like, I'm sorry, but we have to go back to the hotel. I'm like, no, I want to drive around. I want to find an In-N-Out burger because I hear it's amazing. And
There are things called cabs. You have a phone
I have to.
with GPS.
It was a church convention, and I could not leave my youth groups. So you know what? Yeah, I couldn't do that because I was 17 at the time we were in Phoenix.
You
so
know what?
if I was 18, I would have been able to do.
You know
that.
my saying for that, right?
Sucks to be you. Heard that a million times.
All right. Speaking of which, are we done?
All right. See everybody next week.